Hi, my name is
Hello.
Tiana. I'm here with Margaret,
Hi
and we're gonna
guys.
go get bagels. And
Yay!
it's so cold that my hands are freezing, and I probably should have brought gloves, but Margaret's gonna tell us about her go to bagel order, and then she's
Yes.
gonna answer some other questions about life and veganism. Margaret, tell us about why we're going to get bagels.
Um,
What's the significance?
well, I'm from Jersey and there's a lot of bagel shops in my town and in the surrounding area. And so, yeah, I'm just a huge bagel fan and I want to explore more of Philly's bagel scene. Even though it's not as good, like I need to try it at least a few places to give it a fair chance. So today we're headed to Bart's Bagels, which according to Reddit and other sources is a good bagel shop. We'll keep you posted on that once we actually get there.
Our walk today, we're gonna go from the bagel place to Tangen, I guess,
Yeah.
which is Margaret's stomping grounds. And then we'll visit the Schuylkill River Trail because she's also a huge runner. And then she's going to take us to Trader Joe's.
It's my favorite grocery store in the area.
Yeah.
Come with us as we go to Philly places, all my favorite places. Hi world. Oh my god. Look,
We're
bagels.
here with our bagels. Okay.
We're in Tangen Hall, which, as Tiana said earlier, my stomping grounds. I was here this morning actually for a few hours, and I'll probably be here again tomorrow.
So, do you want to talk about your bagel order?
Oh yeah, I got the rosemary sea salt bagel toasted with plain cream cheese. So none of that is stuff I normally order. I usually get a whole wheat bagel toasted with, I mean, actually the plain cream cheese sometimes, but usually if they have it, like a vegan tofu cream cheese.
I got a Asiago black pepper bagel with jalapeno popper cream cheese. Also, nothing I usually get, but it was their weekly special.
Here's a close-up.
Wow. Cheers. I can't say I don't like it, but
Pretty salty. Like the cream cheese is like saltier than I expected. And it's also called rosemary sea salt, and I see salt on it. So
good. Sea salt.
yeah.
Yeah, the bagel itself is not that good.
And I was expecting the bagel itself to be good, so now I'm confused.
I will give them some grace because I don't think the bagels are meant to be eaten after like 15 minutes of walking in the cold.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay. Yeah, they don't have any seating, so I can't imagine that it's meant to be eaten there either.
Out of the bagels I've had, it does not rank very highly, I'm afraid.
I have to agree. And this is coming from somebody who has a bagel place on her top 10 in Belly. Okay, so now that we're here, what's your name? And can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Margaret. I'm a senior at Wharton studying finance and business analytics. I'm originally from New Jersey. Yay. And do a lot of stuff at school related to like my startup work.
And she's in a comedy group.
Oh yes, I do. Or last year I did a lot with that. It's a little musical comedy group called Mask and Wig. If you're ever in Philly, check us out. If you happen to be in San Francisco, San Diego, LA, or Seattle in March, we will be there too. So catch us out on the road.
So what have you been up to lately?
Lately, a lot of like startup work. Also some Mask and Wig stuff because we have opening weekend this Saturday. Like 9 to 5 every week. Well, usually more than 9 to 5 now. I'm doing like stuff with my startup. So it's called Serpent, a little tree care robotics company inspired by some work we did at Penn and some technologies that Penn created. And yeah, we're trying to just help make the tree care industry a bit safer. And so my job is to really help with a lot of the more businessy stuff. So whether that's like finding customers, finding like pilot users, anything that's not engineering basically falls under my domain. And so it's a pretty time-consuming job, I would say. Like right after this, I need to go home and figure out some bugs we're experiencing. I spend a lot of time in this building. It's called Tangen Hall. It's Penn's entrepreneurship hub for like students. Tangen basically just supports all like entrepreneurial efforts done by like anyone who's a student here. So I've participated in competitions held in these halls. I've done an accelerator here, all through Venture Lab, which is like the governing body, I guess, that looks after Tangen and some other spaces. Oh, and then I can also talk about like the not student side necessarily, but I'm also involved in that now. It's called Pennovation. It's a university run like entrepreneurship hub, and so people who are like somewhat affiliated with the university can like buy desk space there and like office space, and it's just a nice place to do work.
What do you want more of in your life this year?
I think I need more time like for myself to just focus on my like personal growth. So whether or not that's like focusing more on like my health or just focusing on like spending time with friends, I think I really want to prioritize that as much as I can, which I also realize might be like ironic given how much time I'm also spending now on like my startup stuff. But where there's a will, there's a way. And so I'm trying to figure out how to make it all work. For example, right now I'm spending time with Tiana instead of working. So I think that is a step up. We're graduating soon, and after we graduate, people won't be as close, or even if we are in the same city, it'll be hard to see people because everyone's going to be working and it'll be hard to line up schedules. So yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your journey to Penn and who you were when you first arrived.
Well, as I said, I grew up in New Jersey, spent my whole life there, went to high school, public school, whatever. And then I came to Penn. I didn't really know what I wanted to do before I went to college. I guess I always like dreamed of as a kid doing entrepreneurial work when I got older, but I didn't know like what exactly that would look like and how exactly my college experience would shape that. So I kind of came to college like no tangible like job decisions made in my head yet. Like I didn't know that banking was a thing. Like I didn't know consulting was like such a popular job. Like I didn't even know what consulting was. Honestly, still a little iffy on what exactly they do. But so yeah, that was my journey to Penn. And then I actually applied as a math major to like every school except Penn. Because I was like, oh, it seems like a practical thing to do. Did a lot of math throughout high school. But when I got into Penn and I got into like Wharton, I applied as an entrepreneurship concentration. And so I was like, okay, well, let me try something different with my life and see where the wind takes me. So I came here. I guess when I arrived here as a freshman, I was pretty clueless. Probably just like had a very idealistic vision of the world or thought of the world because I feel like I grew up in very much of a bubble, and so I was always like very sheltered from like real world things. But Philly is like a big bustling city, so you have to like get adjusted to that. And Penn is also a pretty big campus. Like there's a lot of students, a lot of diversity, not only in terms of like people's backgrounds, but also like people's thoughts and ideologies. Probably changed a lot since then. Definitely changed a lot since then.
That was going to be like my next question. In what ways do you think you've changed? Either what decisions do you think contributed most to that, or what it was about Penn that changed you the most?
I feel like I'm more practical now than I was when I came here. I think like in college, because you experience like so many different types of rejections, like club rejections, job rejections, or like not even getting into classes that you want to take because there's no space or like whatever. You realize like, oh, you have to adapt a lot around that and just make more practical choices for yourself and like see how that can hopefully benefit you in the short term or the long term. So yeah, definitely improved on that aspect, you know. I don't think the world is like a perfect rosy place anymore. I think also the culture at Penn is, I don't know if it's necessarily unique. Like I'm sure some other universities have this too. But I think the extreme focus on pre-professionalism definitely like changed the way I think. I don't agree with the pre-professionalness of things here. Like I think it's taken to an extreme that is extremely unhealthy. and doesn't foster like the best college experience. Like I think when you come to Penn, well, at least I did not realize that it was a very pre-professional space. I thought it was just like, any other college like Vanderbilt or like Michigan, but it's like not. There's not as much like school spirit. People are trying to just figure out like, I don't know, career aspirations rather than like enjoying the full college experience, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Like there's less joy, I would say, at Penn than there is at like your average institution because we lack like the school spirit that other places possess.
Or I think it's like the caveat is like not necessarily that there's less school spirit, but it's not student body wide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I think a lot of, especially the sports schools, they have like a huge culture of like everybody goes out to watch the games, and like you have a lot of these student body wide events. But I feel like because also Penn is already segmented into different schools at the undergrad level,
Yeah,
we don't really have that kind of culture.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think your experience at Penn will be very different depending on like what you study. So how are you feeling about graduation?
I have like mixed feelings about it. Like I'm excited to get out into the real world, I think, and just like be able to full control over my schedule. Like, don't have to worry about like making class times, whatever. But at the same time, it's a little scary because it's like, oh, you're not going to see a lot of people anymore. Like some of the people I was friends with in college, like I might not see them for like years at a time. If they're going to like different countries, the other side of like the world, like I don't know where life will take all of us. So that's a little bit freaky to think about. And also the sense that like, oh, now you are fully responsible for everything. Like when you're at school, it's a nice little bubble too of like, oh, like the school will protect you, quote unquote. But when you're out and about, like you're expected to be a full functioning adult, like you pay your own bills, you set everything up. Yeah, a little bit of both, like anticipation of graduating and the freedom that it brings, but also the uncertainties of what it brings.
What has stayed important to you as you've grown, and what have you let go of, or do you want to let go of?
Yes. I think something important is definitely like health. I mean, I was probably like healthier when I was in high school just because I ran like so much. But it's still like remained an important part of my identity, I think, to take care of myself. I definitely don't do it as much as I want, let's say that. But it's not something I've like totally lost either, which I think I'm very happy about. So I feel like I've lost a lot of other things I used to do. Like I used to do a lot of like music things, like artsy stuff, and now I don't have the chance to do as much. But that's okay. But like health, I feel like you can do easy exercises like anywhere, or like go for walks, or do like a 5-minute core routine. Like it's chill. Actually, this month I started doing like 5 minutes of planking a day. And so like before I go and shower, like before I go to bed, I'll like take out my yoga mat and just do like 5 straight minutes of like a plank.
That's crazy. I don't think I can do that.
I didn't think I could either, but wait, I'm really big into this workout class called F45. Like whenever I'm at home, like I need to go. Like I love it so dearly. But one of like the challenges when I went home was to do like a 5-minute plank after class. And I was like, oh, there's no way I can do it. I was like, there's no way. Like I've never done a plank for more than like 2 minutes of my life, you know? And then my coach was just like, no, like you can just like go, like you got it. Just like do it. And like you can tap out like if you need to, But I was like, yeah, I'm gonna tap out at like 2 minutes. But like surprisingly enough, I like lasted the 5 minutes. It wasn't all like a front plank, like you could alternate like side planks, whatever. As long as you're in a planking position throughout the plank, like that counted. So I decided to like bring that back with me to Philly. Because now I'm like, oh, like, yeah, there's a lot of times I just want to go to bed and like I don't want to do anything. But this is only 5 minutes a day. Like I can squeeze that out. Like if I have like 5 minutes for YouTube, like I have 5 minutes to plank. So that's been something I recently instituted in my life that's health related. I think human connection. I like meeting people, and so trying to get out of the house as much as possible this semester will be good. And then things I want to leave behind, like leaving out like toxic people and just negative sources in my life would be very, very important. Like I'm already someone with pretty limited time, so it doesn't really make sense to me logically to like spend a lot of time with those who are like being a detriment to like my mental health. They're just like whatever. So yeah, figuring out like who is actually good for me and who maybe not so much, yeah, will be important too.
Yeah, period. Can you talk to the career path that you've chosen for yourself a little bit and like why that feels fulfilling for you?
Yeah. So as I mentioned a little bit earlier, like when I was younger, I always dreamed of like doing something entrepreneurial with my life. Um, and so still the ultimate goal for me is to do something in that field. Whether that's like actually working at a startup or like working in venture capital or something along those lines, I think that would be very fulfilling to me as like a long-term career goal. I think it's the ownership you get when you are in like an entrepreneurial environment that really speaks to me. Like if you're working in a normal corporate job, it's like you're given tasks A, B, C, and you just have to do it, you know. Um, but when you're in more of like a startup-y, free-spirited sort of environment, you really get to pick and choose your battles, and you can figure out what you actually want to spend time doing. You can experiment a lot more. More control over your schedule. Like, yes, you might have to put in more hours, you might have to like work a bit harder, but at the end of the day, you feel more rewarded because you got to pick what it was that you were working on.
How would you define risk? And what's your propensity for risk?
For me, I think risk is like, what would I lose if I don't do like, or don't take that option, you know? I think this can be described through like a lottery ticket sort of analogy. Not to sponsor lottery tickets or anything because I've never done a lottery in my life. But like if you don't like buy a lottery ticket, like what do you miss out on? I think that's what risk is. And then like if you do take that risk or like if you do go with that option, like what then is the cost to you? So for like example with the lottery ticket, like if you buy the lottery ticket that costs you like what $5 or something, but it could land you like $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, if you're buying like lots and lots of lottery tickets and you're never winning, then that's just like costing you a lot of money. Um, and so I think everyone has their own tolerance for risk. Like some people are very risk averse, and some people are a little bit more risk seeking. Like I don't think I would ever go skydiving because the risk for me would then be like, what if like the parachute doesn't open? Like that's something I'd be afraid of. But you know, other people might be like, oh, that seems like cool because now you get to experience like a really crazy thing. Um, yeah, that's what risk is. Just whether or not you miss out on doing something that you would regret.
It's interesting you mentioned skydiving because I feel like I am not somebody who has a high tolerance for risk, but I would go skydiving.
Yeah, I know.
Right now, you are compared to like, I guess, our general age demographic. You have a high propensity for risk.
I think so. I think I've taken some pretty risky paths right now, or I'm currently on a pretty risky path. Like I could be spending all my time just hanging out with friends, like enjoying senior year, but instead I'm like working God knows how many hours a week, like trying to build out the startup. Um, and so that could be risky. Like I don't know, like there's a lot that I could be missing out on, like socially enjoying my life, or like yeah, even like with my general career path, like I have tried like banking or whatever. Um, and I think I still have taken like some pretty big risks there. Like I was like, oh, I'm not gonna like do any sort of networking and just see where the wind takes me because the risk at the time was like, oh, if I like put in all this effort, but it's like not something I really want to do, like why would I have put in all that effort when I could have done something else? Yeah, high risk taking abilities currently. But yeah, take risks when you're young, guys, because when you're older, you will not have as much freedom to do so. Like whether or not it's because you're constrained by family or just because there's going to be fewer like,
opportunities
fallbacks after as well. And yeah, also fewer opportunities. Like when you're young, like the world is truly your oyster. But as you get older, the oyster grows smaller and smaller.
Yeah, I do think that like the cost of risk when you get older for like the same choice that you have now is higher, and like whether or not you end up taking that risk is entirely dependent on your mindset. But it is, I think, generally like the case that like things will only get harder and riskier as you age.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about the social aspect of entrepreneurship? So I think a lot of people who are graduating with us and going into the corporate world, there's a lot of socialization and mentorship that is built in.
Yeah.
But entrepreneurship, because given like the free spirited sort of nature, as you
Yeah.
mentioned, it doesn't really have that formalized. So have you thought about what that would look like for you post grad?
Yeah. I think it's wrong to say that there's no like mentorship in entrepreneurship. Like I don't want people to get that sense. Like you can definitely find mentors and advisors. It's just a question of like how. And so for me personally, I've been able to like do accelerators, and I've met a lot of like mentors and advisors that way, like through the programs. Um, or like professors are willing to be like mentors and advisors as well. So they're people like you can carry on post grad and just keep in touch with and check in like when you need help and mentorship. Um, and then in terms of like, I guess if you're starting out post grad doing entrepreneurship and you've never really done it before, to find mentors, I would like join a community. Like maybe on Luma, they have a lot of events for founders, and so you can like go to one of those and find other people who are willing to help you, and also you'll probably find a lot of friends that way. But there's like a lot of opportunities. You just have to like look online, I think, or look around you, or maybe someone will introduce you. Like maybe you have like one other founder friend, and then they're able to show you their whole network of friends, and eventually your network just keeps growing and growing, and you'll be able to preserve those relationships for years to come.
I think the principles of that kind of parallel the principles of just like how to meet friends post grad in general.
Yeah.
Because it's not that like there are no more friends post grad, or
Yeah,
that like the friends that you have now are the friends that you're going to be stuck with forever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it is important to think about how you can create a system for yourself, or like some kind of structure to where it's easy for you to meet new people on like a semi-regular basis. Because you also can't just like sit there and expect people will come to you, especially if you're just like sitting at home. So I think it's a fine line between like letting things happen naturally and then also like making the environment like so that these things can happen with a higher chance.
Like if you are spending all your time at home, like no one knows you exist, you know? Like no one's gonna find you. Like you're not gonna find anyone. You gotta go out there and meet people.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to the impacts of AI on, I guess, not just startup work, but like the world in general, how do you think that impacts your life the most, whether it's like in your career or on like a day-to-day basis?
I think the nature of a lot of roles will change, and I think a lot of like maybe more entry level roles are going to be eliminated, but in return, or like there will be replacement for those entry level roles. I don't know what exactly it'll look like right now, but like you can't have a world where everyone is unemployed, you know? So like there will be opportunities, like trust. And it'll probably just be like people who know how to use AI will then be further along in their career journeys, or like just able to get more opportunities because they're able to leverage technology. It's able to streamline your work process. And so I think that's pretty important. You'll be able to get more work done. And maybe it'll also allow you to pursue more of like your true passions, rather than just doing like administrative work or things that you just need to get done. Like hopefully now you're able to improve your productivity by 20-30%. And with that free time, maybe you can like go try a new hobby. You can like work on a side project that you've always wanted to do but always said you had no time to do. So I think that's how AI will affect the world that we live in.
I saw this TikTok once that was talking about this take that I think resonates with me too, is AI is not supposed to be here to film movies and like make art and be creative. AI is supposed to be here to do the boring tasks that we don't want to do so that we can go and actually be creative. And
I agree. I think creativity has to stem from like humans. It can't stem from technology. Just because like humans are inherently social creatures. Like if you lose that creativity aspect, like
what else is
what
there?
What else is there left for us? Like, are we just bots? Like, I don't know. There's nothing to enjoy if there's nothing to talk about, and there's only things to talk about when you're doing something.
Yeah. If you were a like, I don't know, high schooler or like middle schooler now, do you think that there's like anything different you would do when you're approaching figuring out like a career path in response to maybe how the world will change?
I don't know. I feel like if your goal in life is to do something like SWE, like there's still a path for you. Like a startup will need SWEs like at any point along their journey. They can't only rely on chat or vibe coding to do everything. Like a person who studies computer science knows how to structure code better. Like chat will get there eventually, but it'll do it in such a convoluted way that could have like it could have been done like faster by a human just saying like, oh, this is how the structure should be, like this avoids all the bugs that would otherwise come up. So I think there's still a need to learn all the things that chat can do. You know, like chat can write, but you should still learn how to write like a 5-paragraph essay at some point in your life, you know? Like you need to be able to structure your thoughts in a way. You have to know how to live on your own without having to rely on chat. Like it's nice.
I agree.
It's nice that AI exists and can help you do things, but it can't be the like a panacea for everything. And so still take all the courses you would have taken otherwise. Like don't close yourself off to any career opportunities right now because you don't know. Like things will probably change in a few years and maybe you'll want to pursue something different. And if you are telling yourself right now like I can't do SWE ever, but then you're like, oh shoot, I really do like computer science when you take it in high school, you know, I think you'll be sad that you were so adamant against doing it earlier on.
Yeah, totally. When code is done by AI, you need to understand underlying mechanisms of like how it works. Like maybe you don't need to always be debugging, but you need to understand how it works so that you could.
Yeah.
Because there will be issues that like AI will hallucinate and it will mess up, and like in a world where we don't know how to think for ourselves, I think that's very dangerous. If you could redesign one part of your industry or how your work stream goes, what would it be and what would you do to fix it?
I can separate this into like two parts. One of them like more focused on finance and then the other part more focused on like the entrepreneurial stuff. I think in the finance world there's a lot of like inefficiencies. For example, like you are working on a project, you turn in like your deliverable for it to your superior, you know, they got to review it. And so now you move on to your next task. But like sometimes or a lot of times there's like that weird period where you finished your work for like all your projects and then you have like that chunk of time. And then afterwards, all of your comments get turned in and then you're working on like 5 things again at once. And so it's just like very hard to balance all of that. So I feel like there's probably a staffing model that could be instituted where you like kind of help your staffer or whoever your manager is like figure out a better way to place you on projects such that the overlaps are not all at the same time or like none at the same time, you know. I don't know if it's possible, as I said, but in an ideal world it's like you would always just have like a stream of work, but it wouldn't like be a detriment to your life to be working on like 5 things at once. Yeah. Or also maybe like there would be easier ways to like populate your data or something, you know?
Oh yeah.
Because like right now there's a lot of FactSet, or I'm sure there's other tools too. But
a lot of the work is still
It's
like
very
at
like
the analyst,
manual.
at the analyst level, it's all manual.
It's very
It's all grunt
manual.
work, and
Yeah.
yeah, it feels a little bit like a waste of time. If there was a way to streamline that, that would be great.
Yeah.
But then when you use anything like AI, there's the chance that it's wrong.
Yeah.
So then you can't.
Yeah.
So if somebody out there can invent something to where like I don't have to be control effing for numbers all day, that would be great.
Yeah. Or like if it could tell me what I need to do next, then I'd be like, oh, good one. Like it just remind me, like make sure you're looking out for like X, Y, Z. Okay, and then on like the startup side, I think funding is where there's a really big like gap. There's so many funds that exist. Like there's a lot of capital or what do they call it? Like dry powder.
Do they really?
Yeah, I think they call it like dry powder.
Interesting.
But like whether or not that fund aligns with what your startup is working on is where there's like a bigger gap. Like there's just so much to like look through to find the like VCs that actually work for you. And so I think if there's like a way to better streamline that database or just create some sort of database that does have every single VC, like what they focus on, what stage they invest in, and not any of the crap that's like, oh, we invest in like super early stage all the way to like your IPO stage, you know? Like when funds say that, like it's a lie. I wish there were like a place that actually was like very upfront and honest. That's like, oh, this VC only invests in firms that are at the Series A raise, Series B raise. You know, like if you're before that, like better off looking somewhere else. And there's just no transparency right now, I think, in the industry when it comes to that, or at least I haven't encountered that transparency yet. That would be useful. It would save a lot of time in terms of looking for funding.
Okay, we're back.
Yes.
And now we are walking to Trader Joe's.
Yes.
And on the walk over, I'm going to ask her some more questions. The first one being, what do you think school prepared you well for?
I think school prepared me well for being, well, I think a few things. Number one is like being good under pressure. Penn is very much of like, there's just a lot going on at all times. So you have to learn how to balance everything. And therefore there's also a lot of pressure. But then you become good at dealing with these situations. Like if it's a lot of deadlines or like, I don't know, deadlines plus job stuff plus club stuff, like all wrapped into one big ball. Makes you good at thinking quick on your feet and being able to juggle a lot. And another thing is I think Penn makes you very employable because I don't know, like employers like knowing that you got a degree that you had to struggle for a little bit, and yeah, you become good at networking. For most people, not me personally, but most people. Those are a few things Penn is very good at doing.
What do you think you feel unprepared for?
Ooh. I think Penn doesn't necessarily do a good job of setting you up for like a long-term career that you're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
And why I say this is because when you come to Penn, you have all these like aspirations, right? That you wanna be like a world changer in some capacity, you know? You're here as a dreamer. But like once you're here, then a lot of your dreams like die. Like I think Penn is like one of those places where all the things you imagined about the world, you're like, oh, actually, like let me go into one of these few industries instead. Like I'm not gonna work in whatever life-changing place.
I thought about this a lot actually, and I think where it really comes from is like partly because Penn does push those industries very strongly, but also I think there's two things. Number one, the alumni network is very, very heavily rooted. So people will tell you like, oh, talk to upperclassmen, talk to alumni. Like when you actually talk to these people, you realize that they're all walking a similar path, and you tend to like just get inspired by that because that's all you ever hear. And then two, I think a lot of people experience success very quickly, especially in those fields. So when you hear about your peers getting like investment banking offers and consulting offers, and all of this happens in like freshman or sophomore year. Even if you yourself are on another path to do something else, you feel pressured
Yeah.
to like be
Just join in.
experiencing.
It's
Yeah,
hive
yeah,
mind. Like, just, yeah,
yeah.
peer pressure.
Yes. What are you actively trying not to think too far ahead about?
Probably like silly things where I want to end up like in the future, where I want to like settle down eventually, you know, like I'll go wherever the wind takes me. I don't know. I feel like I don't have as clear of like a 5-year plan as most people do. Because, you know, like in the finance industry, you work for like 2 years or whatever in banking, or 3 years. And then you work a few years doing something else in finance or like the corporate world.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it's like I don't really know what these next 5 years will look like. It could look like anything.
Yeah. What did you want to achieve most in college, and do you think you've done it?
What did I want to achieve most? Probably figure out what it is that I'm able to offer to the world. Was I able to achieve it? I think so. I think I figured out that I'm a very good executor. Like, whether that's through like my club activities or through my startup work, like I think because I am pretty good at dealing with pressure these days, like I am able to like do what I set out to do, or if I'm not able to do it like head on, I'm able to figure out like roundabout paths to executing that. So I guess in a sense I was able to figure out what I wanted to do with my life at Penn.
Any advice or hacks for prospective students?
Philly is one of the few places in this country that's like truly walkable. And because of that, there's just access to a lot of stuff around here. Like most college towns are like towns, you know, or like rural areas. But I think we're lucky that we're in a city and we're able to really explore like a true metropolitan experience.
Yes.
So take advantage of the ability to walk anywhere, bus anywhere, whatever. Take advantage of all the nature that Philly has to offer in its surrounding regions.
Wait, I think one thing about like engaging with the city that I didn't realize like was so important for is like the way that you live in college is going to be the most free that you'll ever really get to live.
Yeah.
And I think it's really easy where like if you're in college and you start to live a very mundane routine where you're like home a lot or you kind of just do the same things over and over again, it's hard to break out of that like once you're post grad because it's not like a muscle that you've built up.
Yeah.
So it's good to like be comfortable getting out there so that when you transfer to like full time, like you already kind of know how to stay active.
Yes. Something I derive a lot of joy from, if you couldn't already tell, is I love finding new places to eat at. And so, yeah, like I feel like being able to exercise that as like a college student, being able to try some of the best cuisines in the world, some best restaurants. Philly has a great food scene for all those who are watching.
Can you tell everybody a little bit about your favorite restaurants in Philly?
Oh, okay. My top ones. So I'm really big into like Thai food and also Mediterranean, like that region. And so I think Philly has some of the greatest spots ever for these cuisines. For Thai, there's Kalaya in Fishtown. Oh my God, I've already been there 3 times, which is like crazy because number one, it's not like very cheap. It's not that expensive either, but it's not like a $15 meal, you know, and it's also far away. So the fact I feel like that I've trekked there so many times shows how good it is. It's like very authentic. I've met the owner. Yeah, super cool. James Beard award-winning chef and all the accolades. And then for like Mediterranean, there is a place called Laser Wolf that we're going to again this week actually. So delicious. It's like an Israeli grill house, and the salatine, which is like the little appetizer dishes at the beginning, are like amazing. The pita bread is amazing. And it's also like unlimited for
Yeah,
the like
like the
appetizers
messe.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a place called Amada. They do Spanish tapas. Holy moly, like I could go on and on all day. Okay, just for reference, like New York is supposed to be the culinary center of the world, right? Like
Yes.
all the best restaurants, Michelin, what have you. I don't know about that. Like maybe it's because I haven't been to the Michelin restaurants in New York, but at least on my belly list, like I think 7 out of my top 10 are Philly, and they're not like New York. So I think that says a lot about how quality the food is here.
So what feels like the cost of the life that you're building?
At the moment, I feel like, okay, I know I talked about how I'm really trying to prioritize also like spending time with friends and people this semester, but because I'm also like pretty busy working on my startup work, I feel like I don't get to see them as much as I would ideally, be able to. So that's probably the cost of the life, like being able to make those connections and all the memories that I can. But hopefully it pays off in the future, and I'm able to do what I want long term with my career, like startup wise, and then maybe I'll have money to like treat my friends to a fun little vacation or a meal. I don't know. We'll see, TBD. But
I think it's a comforting thought to know that like even though you'll never have the college proximity again, like the people who matter will stick around in your life.
yeah,
And there's so many years, for all kinds of fun stuff. So
hopefully, yeah.
Are
Wait, I don't know. Wait, okay. So someone told me this. It's like after college or like after you're like really around people for a while, when you see them later on, it's not to make new memories, but rather to just catch up on the past. Yeah.
I think it's a couple more years before that starts applying to us, though.
Yeah, I think we still have a little bit
We
of
still
time.
have a little bit of time.
But hopefully I don't miss out fully on that window of time and I'm able to enjoy life.
What are you most proud of learning here that isn't on your resume?
I think this started before I got here, but I think it really like compounded once I was here, is like grit and like perseverance, getting through the tough times. Coming to Penn, I was already like pretty fleshed out, I guess, but then you're here and then there's just so much more to do. There's a lot more than just like a few classes, like very silly clubs. You just take on a lot more responsibility and you have to know how to handle all of it. So I think that really builds up your grit. And I think I owe a lot to the school environment for getting me to where I am now, where I feel like nothing can really break me because I've already gone through so much.
We're here at the Schuylkill, which is the name of the river in Philly.
Yes.
There's a trail that goes
there.
So tell us, like, what's your running routine? How many miles? Like,
okay, I'm like a very erratic runner, I think. Like my running schedule is when I am available. Sometimes that means I'll go like a month without running, but then I'll run like, I don't know, a few times a week after that. I need to build back up my mileage because I signed up for the Love Run, which is a half marathon 2 months from now. So I have some work to do. Hi guys. Oh, that is not a nice.
We're at Trader Joe's. All of the aisles are like empty.
Semi-empty.
Yeah, it's crazy. Also, this is too populated of a place for me to freely be filming. Oh.
Hello, gang. With my all-time.
She put me on those two. Those are really good.
Yeah. I put the world on every snack.
She put me on kale, so now I'm getting kale. Okay, so first question.
Yes.
What is one rule you live by?
Ooh. Do things that scare you, I think that's something that's important. And also, like, if not now, like when? And something else is your haters are rooting for you to fail, so don't give them a reason to. Sorry, those are 3 things, and they're all very important in my opinion.
Fair. What would you want future you to remember about who you are right now?
Ooh, I need future me to remember that I've already been through a lot of annoying stuff, and I can't give up. The past version of me would be very disappointed if she gave up over something really stupid and silly. So, get it done.
Okay, we're currently standing in maybe the longest Trader Joe's line
Yes, truly
we've
so
ever
long.
stood in.
Yeah.
But in the meanwhile, what is one thing that you hope that you don't lose after graduation?
Ooh, I think a sense of spontaneity and whimsy. Because, once I'm out of this school environment, like the chance of seeing people will be like less, and then there will be less spontaneity. But I hope we're still able to figure out ways to do things like on the fly and just get out and do something really silly and stupid.
Last question that I have written down, was Penn worth it?
I think so. I don't really know what I would have done otherwise. I mean, I guess like there are other schools I would have gone to or could have gone to. I think I met a very interesting set of people that I will continue being friends with after we graduate. And I think I met some co-founders who I will also stay in touch with for a very long time. And I think I learned a lot while I was here. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I could have gotten a similar experience somewhere else, but I can only speak from the perspective of having been a student here. So hopefully it was worth it. If not for my sake, at least for my parents' wallets' sake. You win some, you lose some, and I think we won enough to make it worth it.
Yay! Okay, so on that note, thank you for joining us today, Margaret, and sharing your wisdom. I think we're going to continue waiting in this Trader Joe's line. Is there anything else you want to share with the world?
Do the things you want to do in life, because if you don't, then that will make you feel sad. That'll make the past version of you feel sad, You don't want to disappoint yourself. So take those risks while you can, calculated risks, and as your tolerance can handle. Take care of your health, because you only get one life, and if you screw it up now, that's bad. Hang out with your friends when you can, and yeah, try to see people at least like a few times a week.
Yes.
If not every day, like a few times is fine. It's okay to be who you are and do what you want to do. Like, you don't have to live for anyone else. Like, everyone else around you might be doing something and they might think that's right, but at the end of the day, only you can determine what is right for yourself. Yeah.
What? Oh.
We have a Luca up here looking for it.
Aww.
Thanks for watching.
Yes, thanks for tuning into my TED Talk. Let me know if you want to see a part, I don't know, 2 or something.
Margaret has lots more to share.
Yeah, bye guys.
Bye.